Hello, everyone. This is a different sort of video. This is just going to be me giving, I guess, a little bit of a anecdote, uh, a couple of religious anecdotes or spiritual, depending on how you want to interpret it. I was born into this life, and I was born into a semi-Catholic life. I never asked for it, much in the sense that I never asked to be born. But I was raised, through the Catholic faith. I had a communion, I had a baptism, all these sorts of things, a confirmation as well. Okay. Now, as a kid, you don't really know what's going on, so you just go along with you go along with it, right? I got I went through all this shit, but realistically, I didn't really believe. I didn't really care. I didn't give a shit. It was only until I got to be a 16-year-old, and I had sort of an existential crisis where I was really worried about what happened to us after death, because as you become a 16-year-old, you start to think, oh, fuck, life is not so much rainbows and sunshine, it's actually, there are real consequences to being alive. There's a lot of beauty in being alive. I'm glad that I'm alive because there's so much stuff we can experience, so much love that we can give, and good things that we can do to people. Even if you don't get recognition for it, it's still nice to be able to do things. And I suppose the reward is that you feel good, But that's sort of besides the point. Really what I'm trying to say, let's get back to the anecdote. I was, so I'm a bit sick, so sorry if it sounds like I'm fucking lighting up a dart and dying from lung cancer, but I'm really sick. Okay, so I had an existential crisis when I was 16, thinking about what happens after death. And being in class, and the topic of transubstantiation came up, which is essentially the process into which the body, bread and wine, is converted into the body and blood of Christ. And thinking about that was such a powerful feeling that I experienced, and I don't know what it was, but that sort of just started. It planted a seed in me, thinking about it, and I guess I looked more and more into it, and I guess I found comfort in to say, hey, yeah, sure, you'll die one day. It's like we all die. Everyone dies. There's a few things that's certain in life. You will die, and taxes. Everything else is a possibility. Happiness, depression, love, anxiety, bad thoughts, good thoughts, There's whatever. It comes up if it comes up. If it doesn't, it doesn't, But death and taxes is guaranteed. Always. That was one of the first things. And that's just a short story. I don't really remember it too much now, but I remember that being very powerful for me at the time. A second big moment, and it happened, I sort of, I fell into it, and then I sort of fell out of it a little bit, but it was sort of like, it was coming and going. I would pray. I would go to a church. I wouldn't go to church, but I would go to a church and pray. Okay. And I would go there late at night, 1, 2, 3 a.m. I used to be a real night owl. So I would do that. And then when I was a little older, and when I was struggling, I had a period of my life where I was having a dream. I can remember it vividly. And I woke up. No, it's straight. No, in the dream, I was at a park, and it's just strange. But I was at a park with a firearm, and I was ready to die. Um, and I was ready to go, and I didn't, because it's just funny. I don't know what it was, but Liam Nielsen walked up, and he had he basically said, "Hey, Red Menace, it's sort of like it's not time to go yet, you know." Um, and then I woke up. I cried, and that was that. And to experience that, I mean, right now I'm crying, sort of recounting this story, because it still had such a huge impact upon me. And to me, it sort of felt like I was being visited by an angel. It was, yeah, very, very strange experience, extremely powerful, And it's my third sort of anecdote is I was going for a trip. I drove up the coast, and I was driving up somewhere in Australia. There's a lot of coast in Australia, so I was driving in a particular direction. Excuse me. I was driving in a particular direction, and on the way, I saw this beautiful church. Okay. And it's early in the morning. No one was there. I walked in, and at this point, I was suffering even more. And I walked in. No one was there, and I just cried, and I was overcome with tears. And it was one of the most. It was a small church, more like a chapel, to be honest. Not really like a cathedral or anything, but it was built with very archaic architecture. It was really, really beautiful, and I just cried, and I sort of asked God, why, why must I suffer, and why must I go through this? And it was like being like submerged, I suppose, or overcome. And I did it, and I took some photos as I was there. It's very beautiful. I won't share them because I don't really want to. I'm not in the business of doxing myself. Excuse me. I don't want to. Don't want to. Fuck. I don't need to dox myself. Anyways, that's the second time. Like, moments where I have felt, I don't know what you would call one of my friends, he's described it as being the Holy Spirit, I guess. In the third example, that was such a powerful feeling, and unless you experience it yourself, it's so hard to describe. There's tears, yeah, and sometimes people get sad and they cry over all sorts of things, but that was an extremely, extremely powerful emotion. And it sort of was like, hey, I'm there, like, as in I'm being God. Hey, dude, I'm here. Just chill out. Just chill out. You'll be alright. And, someone was like, why do you believe? Why do you believe? And I would say those three stories are probably why I believe. There's also some other minor stories. Fortunately, I have been in a position in my life where I've been in a lot of positions where it's like right place, right time. And when in those sorts of circumstances, you either hear the right thing or you see the right thing, and you're able to step in and intervene in someone's life, or provide advice, or help them, or guide them along their own particular journey, even if it's such a minor thing. But I have been blessed to participate in that. And you know what, for those people, it's probably they would just forget. And it's not a bad thing. They would just, they don't remember. I fortunately have a pretty good memory, so I remember a lot of things, even small insequential details, but I'm glad that I could make a small impact on someone's life. Even if they don't never remember me, I'm glad that I could be there, that you're in the right place to give someone a nudge in the right direction. And I think that's one of the most, that's one of the best things I have had in my life so far. And, I'm glad that I could. I'm really, really glad that I can. And it's sort of, every day is an opportunity to wake up and be better, live better, and to give back. I guess as well, sometimes to see how God may or may not have impacted your life, in most cases may, is you just sometimes need a shift in perspective. Introspection is extremely important, to reflect and to think about your own condition and opportunities you've had in your life, or circumstances or experiences, in why or how they have taught you lessons. I'm not trying to be like some fucking yogi here, and say like, oh, look at me, I am so powerful. No, it's not like that. I'm a flawed person, extremely. Everyone can spout shit. But hey, every day is an opportunity to be better and give back and help and love. And probably the last thing, just love. Give love. I think the world would be a better place if more people gave love. It's so easy to just be... You look at the world, yeah, and you're like, oh man, the world is going to shit, damn. But not really. I mean, the world's always going to shit, and it's always improving at the same time. It's a weird duality. It's like it's over, and we are so back, and it's like 10,000 billion loops of that, and that's sort of the constant flow of the world. Is that you will find happiness if you look for it, and you will find sadness if you look for it. It really depends on your perspective and what you want to find. If you want to find sadness, yeah, you'll find it, Your life wants to be miserable, you'll find it. But the most miserable person can find happiness, and the most happy person can find sadness. It's just, it really is depending on your perspective. The people give you that rubbish, like, fuck, and it's like fucking pseudo-intellectualism sometimes. Glass half empty, glass half full. But it's true! It is so true. It just depends on your perspective. Take smaller wins. That's something I should do more. Take smaller wins. Because enough smaller wins will add up. It's the same way that people can get pissed off by lots of small, insignificant, minor things fucking with you. And then you just fucking go like, fuck this shit, cunt! Because you just get overwhelmed. In the same way, a whole bunch of smaller wins will overcome you with joy. If you want to accept them. Someone giving you a compliment, accept it. Don't feel awkward. If someone giving you a compliment, they've gone out of your way to say something nice about you. That person gave their energy to say something nice. Even if it's a nice compliment, a smile, things like that. Anyways, I'm going off tangent. I didn't really intend to have this part of the video end up like this, but, giving life lessons and shit is not fucking worth it. I didn't intend to give this portion of the video, like talking about this shit. I'm probably going to cut this out, but, doesn't matter. Anyways, bye.